What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, it's going to be kind of short and sweet. I want to show you guys a little clip from an interview with Dan Campbell. Now, this is the introductory press conference of Dan Campbell when he took over as the interim head coach of the Miami Dolphins. And I just wanted to listen to it, kind of see what he had to say, because, you know, you hear all the reports, hear all the articles, and I listen to bits and pieces, but I want to listen to the whole thing. And I got to a section in that video where he started talking about how he treats the players. And man, as soon as he kind of said this, I was like, boom, okay, I like this guy. I see why the Lions like this guy, and I like this guy. All right. Now look, I've never played in the NFL, but I played sports before, and I know this is, to me personally, this is the most important thing for a head coach. Schemes, all that stuff is great. You could be really smart with your schemes, but if you can't bring the best out of your players, it does not matter. It's something we talk about with Patricia. It's an issue. And with Dan Campbell, while he may not have the expertise of being an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, and we may have to figure out who are the right guys to hire for those positions, we also need a guy that's going to be a leader and get the best out of our players. Those dads says all the time. Every player in the NFL is really good. They're very talented. But can you get the best out of them? Then you have to put them in the right position, but can you get the best out of them? Can you make them play their best? We talked about once Matt Patricia was fired, how the offense all of a sudden looks way better. That tells me the Lions weren't getting the most or the best out of their players. So I'm going to show you guys this little clip. And the biggest thing I take away from this is that Dan Campbell says how every player needs to be coached differently. Some players need a kick in the rear end. Some do. Some do need that wake-up call. Hey, you're not playing well. Get out there, play better. Some need a pat on the back. Some players, they don't respond to that. All right? It just makes them worse. They start thinking too much. They just need, hey, you're good. Keep playing. You know, you're all right. Some players, They need it. Like everybody reacts differently to a coach. So you need to make sure that you can, in my opinion, I think you need to make sure that you can adjust based on each personality. And I think that's the thing that Dan Campbell, that he's talking about here, that he understands. He understands that part of being a head coach. Working with Sean Payton, I'm sure he understands that even more. He's been around a lot of great coaches. He said that. And now he's around Sean Payton, who is a great coach. I feel like that's also a common denominator. You see these great coaches. What's so great about them? Are they always the smartest? Maybe not. But they get the best out of their players, man. And I think that's something the Lions have lacked. But this quote, I like this dude. I'm okay with it. I love this. I'm really happy with this hiring when the Lions make the decision. I don't know if the Saints are losing or not. They're still playing right now. But after hearing this, my man, Dan Campbell, I see you. This to me, this sealed the deal. I see why they like him. You could kind of see the energy and the passion that he gives off when he talks. I mean, the dude almost looks like he's ready to just get out there and start screaming, man. He's a player's coach. He's a motivator. He can connect with the players. He said, I'm not going to be your best friend, but I will treat every player as an individual. Every player, every coach is different. No one responds the same. I won't respond to how a head coach talks just like you will. So you got to make sure you can adjust to those attitudes. And to do that, it's not an easy thing. But Dan Campbell understands that because he was a player. He understood what it was when he played for a good coach. And I think that's why it also helps to have that background. I understand why the Lions want this guy. We got to find the right coordinators. There's a lot of questions, a lot of things we got to figure out. But it starts with bringing the best out of your players and being a head coach. Head coaching is not coordinating. Head coaching is not scheming. It's coaching a team. Being a coach, they always say when you're younger, it's like being a father. It's like that kind of thing. That's what a coach is. Bringing the best out of your players. Making them play their best when they're playing with you. And this is what I really like. I know Dan Campbell at least understands it. I'm hoping that he brings it. But I just want to show you guys this clip.
I feel like I've always been whether it was a player or a coach, that can pull the best out of people. I feel like everybody is different. No player is the same. No coach is the same. And so with that, there's different ways to motivate players. You know, some players, they need a kick in the rear. Some players need to be patted on the back. Some need to be challenged. They need to be told that they're not good enough, because that's when they really rise to the top. So those are going to be the things that I have to do, and I feel like that is my strength. I understand people very well, and I understand players. And to me, that's what I do well. That's one of the things I do well.
Something that Joseph Dad also said, so I want to bring it up, is that, look, Detroit, they struggle for a while. So for some players, yeah, it's okay to give them that kick in the rear end, but this has been a franchise that's lost a long time, right? So you need that guy that can kind of pick you up sometimes, not just continue to put you down. Like the media, there's a lot of media out there that already does that. So it's great to have that inside influence that can also pick you up when you're down, pick you up when you're struggling. Have that guy. And for the people that want you to kick them down because that brings the best and motivates them, awesome. We need to be able to have that mix, a guy that can adjust based on those people. And I think that's why you see some coordinators, they're really good head coaches. And it's like, hey, they can bring the best out of their guys. They buy into what they're saying. They buy into what they're selling. And some coordinators, they're not great head coaches. Some are good coordinators, great coordinators, but they can't be great head coaches. They're just not great head coaches. They can't figure that thing out. But you can't have half the players buy in, half not. And I honestly think that's the issue with Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia is a very, I think, good defensive mind. I think that's why he's a great defensive coordinator. And I think he'll get a job at some point. And I think, we saw flashes the defense could be good. What he was trying to do, what he was trying to put together made sense. But unfortunately, he couldn't get all the players to buy in. That's why you had the player locker room issues. You got to be able to control those attitudes and those mindsets. And I think that's what Dan Campbell, his expertise is in. And that's why the Lions like him. Like I said, you're going to have to find a defense coordinator, offense coordinator. Hopefully it's Bevel, but you're going to have to find a defense coordinator. You're going to have to find those guys that can scheme things together, that know what they're looking for, because Dan Campbell doesn't have that. But we know that the Lions, based on what he says, I know. Because, look, the fact that he brought that up tells me that he knows what it takes to be a good head coach. Because if the coach can acknowledge that that's important, that's the most important thing, and that's what they can do well, that tells me he knows what that takes. So I think that's the most important thing. Now it's about finding the guys to help him out. Because it's not about being the smartest guy as a head coach. It's about being a guy that can find the smart guys to work with, but also being someone that can work with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to manage everything. He's not trying to be the most technical thing. He's trying to manage things. And I think that's why this is great. So I'm excited for Dan Campbell. I'll just say that. If he's the next head coach, I'm on board. Let's get it, Detroit.
Friday, that these guys, it is very intense. It is very heated. It may even teeter on the fact they have to break a few things up. But that is when you really get good. That is when the juices start flowing. That is when you get the most of your players, is when they're having to compete during the week. Because you can't just go through the motions on Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday, and then you're just going to turn it on Sunday. It doesn't work that way. That goes from the best player we have on this team to the one that's not the best, okay? Push him every day and is trying to beat him every rep. That goes for every player. I don't care if it's Sue. I don't care if it's Cole Misi. I don't care if it's Jarvis Landry. They have to be pushed and they have to be worked. Okay, they have to be challenged, and that's what I'm good. That's the first thing I'm changing. I'm going to challenge these guys. I want them to have to compete.